Part 134. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1333. Lu Yiyi, don't be too happy too early, you won't live long. Huang 11 was very sad, angry, and frightened, but there was nothing she could do. The poison of the death flower had already entered her body, and even the hell of the Holy Emperor of Heaven couldn't burn it clean. Now her body had already begun to rot, and the internal rot was unstoppable. The poison swept through her body like a devil, turning her flesh and blood directly into gray and black, and quickly dried up. She was so deeply poisoned, and it was completely poisonous from the death flower. Even Zhang Zizai's fountain of youth couldn't help her at this time, so even though Zhang Zizai came, he could only watch Huang 11 die in battle. The phoenix body floated to the ground and turned into ashes, and her opponent Lu Yiyi looked equally tired, but she was the winner. At this time, a large number of magic crystals from Huang 11's body reached her body, integrated into her body. Huang 11, I'm sorry, I want the magic crystal. She stared at Huang 11's body, her face still indifferent. It seems that she has completely integrated into the game rules of Qingyang ancient god. Just after Huang 11 died, the golden text appeared, reminding the remaining 17 people that Lu Yiyi succeeded again and killed Huang 11. In this way, all the people in the Broken Star area so far, both deaths were caused by Lu Yiyi. She was even more prominent than Zhang Zizai, who killed Han Chao Emperor Zhang. After all, others didn't dare to act at this time, which shows that she is indeed brave enough. Zhang Zizai also saw it clearly. Sure enough, after the magic crystal is integrated into the internal organs, defeating a person is not enough to get the magic crystal. Only by killing a person can you get his magic crystal. To become the number one in the 49 sacrifice, all the magic crystals are needed. So, why don't you take action yet? With such hesitation, time waits for no one. He hesitated a little. In fact, what makes him feel uncomfortable is that it is impossible for him to kill the Dream King, so the current rules of the game are meaningless to him. After all, anyone can die, but God King Xuanhuan cannot die. As long as God King Xuanhuan cannot die, it is impossible for him to get the first place in the 49 festivals. There is no result in the first place. Do we still need to start working hard? But if you don't work hard, variables will appear later. If you want to work hard, it will be too late. After all, Qingyang ancient god did not say that he must kill everyone else. He is quite a straightforward person. He just hesitated for a while, but for the sake of Yan'er's survival, he still felt that he had to take this first step. As for the Dream God King, that may be a later matter, and he will figure out a way later. No matter what, you have to seize the opportunity. Moreover, Lu Yiyi is already very ruthless. Lingxian God King and Huang 11 both died in her hands one after another. She even started the hunting game. What are you waiting for? After all, Lingxian God King is also her. Of the same race. Having made a decision in his heart, he no longer hesitated. At this time, when Lu Yiyi was about to leave, his body quietly appeared and stopped in front of Lu Yiyi. His face was cold and he stared at the woman. The moment she saw Zhang Zizai's appearance, her face was completely pale. She looked at Zhang Zizai blankly and weakly and said, "Why are you here? You shouldn't be so far away from me." "Is it far?" "I don't know either." Zhang Zizai shook his head. "So I killed Huang 11, did you see it?" Her voice was already very cruel, because she was very afraid of Zhang Zizai. She had already been defeated once, and now she could only tremble when she saw Zhang Zizai. If she could, I would rather never touch him. Of course I saw it, and it made me fully aware that if you want to get the opponent's magic crystal, you have to kill the opponent. It's the same as the crystal beast heart, Zhang Zizai said expressionlessly. He came here first for the 49 festival. Normally, he would never give up. Yes. Well, you taught me, Zhang Zizai said. So, do you want to avenge the Lingxian God King? She said in a sad voice. No, Zhang Zizai shook his head, but when she was slightly surprised, he continued, I just collected magic crystals and crystal beast hearts for my first place in the 49 sacrifices. He has made his attitude clear. Please, she suddenly knelt on the ground, tears streaming down her face, looking like I felt pity for her. She was already delicate and cute, but now she is even more distressed. I saw her kneeling on the ground and kowtow. Said, let me live a little longer. I don't want to die so soon. I had planned to become a god before. Who knew that Qingyang ancient god would arrange it like this? Please let me live a few more months, please, I am willing to do whatever you want, I can serve you and be your slave. She was truly afraid of death. However, she brought death to others again. Life is so contradictory sometimes. If such a beautiful and top-notch God King is willing to serve and call as a maid, some people will agree, but for Zhang Zizai, this is not the key. Sorry, the rules of the game are like this. If you enjoy the fun of killing according to the rules, it means that you recognize the rules of the game. Then you can't disrespect the rules of the game when you are facing someone who wants to kill you, Zhang Zizai said coldly. He believes that people cannot have double standards. If she doesn't agree with the rules of the game and doesn't start killing people to snatch the magic crystal, then Zhang Zizai really has no reason to touch her, but she is already within the rules of the game. She can't say that she is innocent when she is being slaughtered. It's cruel. It is not the Qingyang ancient god. Please, she knelt on the ground, tears streaming down her face, and kept kowtowing. She looked really pitiful as she lay on the ground, which showed that her desire to survive was very strong. Stand up and give you a fair chance to fight. Life or death depends on you. It's useless to beg me, Zhang Zizai said. He has made a decision and cannot change it. If you insist on doing this, you will only die faster. She could only struggle to stand up, but her eyes were blurred by tears. She looked at Zhang Zizai desperately and said, do you think I want to kill someone? The cruel and terrifying one is Qingyang ancient god, Huang 11 is me best friend, do you know how heartbroken I feel about killing her? But what can I do? He has set such rules of the game. I will be the victim sooner or later. I just want to live. Is it so difficult? Huang 11 also wants to live, but she can't ask such questions anymore. Zhang Zizai paused and said, stop being self-centered. To put it bluntly, there are so many problems in this world. The weak will eat the strong, here, power is the rule, we are all trapped in this game, everyone has struggles, but this is not a reason to kill one's friends. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1334. So, among these 20 people, there are no 1 or 2 people you don't want to kill. That only means you are lucky, Lu Yiyi said with tears in her eyes. In fact, she hit Zhang Zizai, because it really existed, and it was the kind that he couldn't do anything about, but Zhang Zizai also chose to take it one step at a time. He hadn't reached the point of struggling yet. Do it? There is no point in saying more. Okay. When Zhang Zizai was so ruthless and there was no room for negotiation, she knew that the only way was to fight for her life. This was her last chance. What if she killed Zhang Zizai? Then the first of the 49 sacrifices might be hers, because Zhang Zizai had too many killable people on him. The dead world dark flower, once again bloomed, the grey color poisonous fog permeated and swept, it could be called the nightmare of life, she danced on the petals, this was the dance of death. Goodbye. Zhang Zizai said nothing. He only had 6 thunder flame pillars in his hand. After breaking through to the 7th level, he was much stronger than before. The crazy biting of those Death Realm dark chi could not stop him. He flashed directly in front of the opponent. When the 6 thunder flame pillars swept across the world, under the flames and lightning, all of Lu Yi's clones were broken. Even the Death Realm Dark Flower was hit by Zhang Zizai once, and it was shaking and wailing, and began to shrink back. Bang bang bang. This was a crushing defeat. A heavenly artifact could no longer stop Zhang Zizai. He didn't even use his soul skills, and completely suppressed Lu Yi. This was completely different from the last battle. Lu Yi didn't expect that she would be defeated so thoroughly. He jumped on it like a fool. Under Zhang Zizai's overwhelming power, she was directly shattered. Her flesh and blood body could not resist the burning and slashing of flames and lightning. Break. At the last moment, she gave up resistance, tears streaming down her face, waiting for death to come. This look can indeed move people's sympathy. After all, a beautiful woman's tears are always touching, and tears in the storm always feel precious. It can be seen that she has countless desires to survive, but she is completely afraid of Zhang Zizai. Although she was given a chance to fight, now it seems that the so-called fight is a dead end, isn't it? Zhang Zizai saw her despair and crying, and she no longer resisted. However, he was more ruthless than she imagined. He didn't know whether he had acknowledged the rules of the game, but she had already acknowledged it, so he was just using the rules of the game to deal with her, which was understandable. Tears are useless. If they were useful, shouldn't Huang 11 and Ling Xian God King die? Lu Yi didn't give them a chance to shed tears. So, under Zhang Zizai's stick, the Flower Thorn God King was completely annihilated. Next, the Crystal Beast Heart and the Magic Crystal were transferred to Zhang Zizai. In this way, Zhang Zizai had 4 Crystal Beast Hearts, but in fact, it was useless to have a few. Even if he didn't have them now, he could have everything if he became the last person to survive. The number of magic crystals had long occupied most of the entire Broken Star Zone. It was estimated that all the other people combined did not have as many as him. There was another gain, that was the Death Realm Dark Flower. The Death Realm Dark Flower was also a heavenly artifact that could be obtained by killing. Zhang Zizai collected it. This time he was not going to sacrifice it. First, he had too many heavenly artifacts and it was a bit difficult to control them. Second, he thought that he might let people around him try it in the future, such as Yan'er. She would always become stronger and become a god king and a god of heaven. Then he could give it to her as a gift. After it was done, a golden text reminder appeared. Zhang Zizai, kill the Flower Thorn God King Lu Yi and get the Crystal Beast Heart and the Death Realm Dark Flower. This news will also be passed on to everyone, letting people know that Zhang Zizai has taken action. Perhaps the Holy Luan God King and the Demon Slayer God King would be moved. After all, it sounds like revenge for the spiritual immortal God King. And in this way, Zhang Zizai has a lot of resources and has become an opponent that everyone wants to defeat, but it is estimated that few people dare to meet him, because there is no doubt that he is almost the most terrifying existence. Except for the mysterious Mu Fan, no one can compare with him. Many people are still hiding, but some of them can't hide anymore. The Holy Luan God King and his friends are not very happy, because they know that if Zhang Zizai continues to soar, they will die in his hands in the end, and there is no way out. As long as they think of this problem, I believe they will despair. The rules of the game are so interesting that no one can be happy. And Zhang Zizai continued to move forward, searching for the whereabouts of others. After he and Lu Yi provoked the battle, it seemed that others also started. A few days later, I saw the news that Cultivation killed a god king of the galaxy Divine Realm. Then, I saw the news that Mu Fan killed the god king of Jinshan Divine Realm. A few months later, Mu Fan killed 3 people in total. As a result, there were only 13 people left out of the original 20. The people killed by Mu Fan included the Demon Slayer God King of the Demon Dragon Heavenly Clan. After a while, there was another golden text reminder that the Supreme Dragon Clan's Holy Luen God King was killed by the quasi-heavenly divine beast Han Dun Dijong. Since then, Zhang Zizai was the only one left in the Supreme Dragon Clan, with a total of 12 people. Zhang Zizai found that he didn't need to do anything himself, many people would leave here, and even Han Dun Dijong would help them. Han Chao Emperor Zhang killed the Holy King Shengluan. Does that mean we have to kill the Han Chao Emperor Zhang? Qingyang ancient god did not remind him about this, but since the rules said that all the phantom magic crystals must be obtained, then that part of the phantom magic crystals must be obtained. This is what he guessed, but he was not sure. I haven't heard any news about the Dream God King, and I don't know where she is. Unexpectedly, Zhang Zizai found her not long after. She was also wandering around, but she didn't meet anyone else. When Zhang Zizai appeared in front of her, her face suddenly became very ugly. Asked, "You want to kill me?" Jur, in a place like this, there's not even a single person, do you still need to cover up? There wasn't one at the Beast God Tower last time, Zhang Zizai asked in confusion. What was actually more depressing for him was that she found that the King of Dreams no longer seemed to have the same familiar feeling as before. The feeling from the 9 Immortals. But how could the same person be hers one moment and not hers the next? Is she pretending now, or is she originally the Dream God King, not the 9 Immortals? But at that time, it was the body in front of me that had been entangled with Zhang Zizai for such a long time and fought fiercely every day. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1335. When he unveiled her for the first time, Zhang Zizai had a very strong intuition that she was the 9 Immortals, so he persisted and finally got her to let go. The two of them had a life of ease and ease like a fairy on the Beast God Tower. Day. After she left, the second time we met again, even if we were alone together, she no longer acknowledged it. But this time when the veil was lifted from her, even that intuition was gone, even if she still looked like a peerless beauty like the 9 Immortals. But the expression between her eyebrows, all kinds of amorous feelings, that free and easy and charming, have long since disappeared. Faced with her looking at him with such hatred, Zhang Zizai didn't know what to say. Anyway, there was an impenetrable mystery surrounding her, and he was afraid that he would get entangled and disrupt her hidden plan. So, he waved his hand and said, "Let's go." He comforted himself that she probably had no choice but to hide it so deeply. In the final analysis, it was because he could not save her. In the end, it was still a matter of strength, so he might still need to wait and settle. You have to tell the difference between life and death. You have no mercy. I will not be grateful to you. You, the Supreme Dragon Clan, all deserve to die. If you weren't aloof, you would treat the ancient gods of the Chaos Demon realm as slaves and trample on them at will. Our lives will not end as they do today. Everything has just begun. My master has come back from the dead to make you pay for it. She was not afraid of Zhang Zizai, and she even dropped these harsh words before leaving. Zhang Zizai couldn't say this, and he didn't know what the Supreme Dragon Clan had done to the Chaos Demon realm in the past, and it seemed natural that the Immortal Lord just wanted revenge. She is the biggest headache for Zhang Zizai in the Broken Star area of the ancient realm. How to deal with her if he wants to get the first place in the 49 sacrifice? Zhang Zizai doesn't have any answer yet. Fortunately, there is still some time, so he can only leave one step at a time. In the following time, Zhang Zizai discovered that if he wanted to get the first place in the 49 sacrifice, there was no need to kill everyone. There were only about 12 people left, and as long as these 12 people met, they would basically do it. When he was still searching for his prey, he would hear news that one person had killed another person, or had Han Chao Emperor Zhang kill him. The golden words were usually it's a direct reminder. For example, Cultivation killed several people. It seems that the only one who has not taken action with others is the Dream God King. After Lu Yiyi died, the only people with crystal beast hearts were Zhang Zizai, Yimen, the god of life and death Wang Mufan, and Cultivation. The magic crystals in other people's hands can't be kept for long at all. Time passed and Zhang Zizai did nothing. This fierce battle had come to an end. With the death of each individual, the magic crystal has become more and more concentrated. After the 4 Chaos Emperors joined, the number of God Kings dropped sharply from 12. Zhang Zizai originally thought that people would be hard to kill as long as they hid, but he thought wrong. Sometimes there might be no way to escape. Except for Mufan, Cultivation, and the Xuanhuan God King who had stronger life-saving skills, the others basically all died within more than half a year. All of them regretted coming in, but there was no other way. This was the rule of the game. During this process, what particularly shocked Zhang Zizai was that Mufan, the god of life and death, also killed 2 Chaos Emperors. This showed that his combat effectiveness was probably not worse than Zhang Zizai. After all, he had fewer divine weapons than Zhang Zizai. But it has a higher realm and a god totem. In the past half year, Zhang Zizai's only gain was to kill a Han Chaos Emperor. This Han Chaos Emperor must have killed people before, so after killing it, he got a lot of magic crystals. Of course, its flesh and blood also allowed Zhang Zizai to refine it with the Yuan swallowing technique. At his current level, it would be very difficult to reach the 8th level of the God King realm by relying on the Yuan swallowing technique. That horror would require refining the God of Heaven. Now, there is only one Han Chao Emperor left, and 4 of the original 20 people in the Broken Star area are left. Zhang Zizai just killed Lu Yiyi at the beginning. He didn't do anything. Now including the Chaos Emperor River, there are already 4 competitors left. He had to start looking for other people, because he was worried that the Dream God King would meet Mufan, and in that case, she would be in danger. It's not that he doesn't want to kill her himself, but he doesn't want anyone to kill her. It's just that the number of people is better, and the Broken Star area is larger, it will only be harder to find 1 or 2 people. 1 month later, there was less than a month left for the entire 5-year 49 sacrifice. He was still searching with the Heavenly Soul, but still could not find other people or the Chaos Emperor Zhang in this Broken Star area. The war was not so intense because the battlefield was so huge. However, with less than a month left in all this time, golden words appeared again. This time the news was, Mufan, the god of life and death, killed Cultivation, the god of 10,000 swords. Now there are 3 people left, so the decisive battle can begin. Just when the golden words appeared and Zhang Zizai was still marveling at Mufan's strength, he suddenly discovered that there was a golden light on his body. This kind of light did not belong to him. It was this given to him by the ancient realm. When this kind of light appears, he can completely feel the guidance of this light. In the next moment, although the Broken Star area is huge, Zhang Zizai can clearly feel that there are 3 stars in 3 directions. There are existences with the same golden light as myself, and they are all locked in the ancient realm. That is to say, as long as I follow the instructions of this golden light, I can find the other 2 people and Han Dun Dejang, and they can find me. This is the final change in the rules of the game. Originally, the remaining people were in the dark, but now there is golden light, which means that everyone is in the light, including the remaining Han Dun Dejang, who knows the location of the other 3. Now the positions of Han Dun Dejang, Xuanmeng Shenwang, and Sheng Sheng Shenwang are in 3 directions respectively. When the golden light just appeared, Zhang Zizai found that one of the golden lights moved quickly and went directly to another golden light. After the 3 of us know the effect of this golden light, we will not act immediately. Only Han Dun Dejang thinks that he is hunting. When he knows the location of others, he will act directly. So this golden light spot should be Han Dun Dejong. The other two are her and Mu Fan. What Zhang Zizai is worried about now is that she will meet Mu Fan or Han Dun Dejong. Now Han Dun Dejong was heading towards a golden light spot that was not his own. Zhang Zizai also thought that he should go there immediately. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1336. The reason is, if the light spot being chased by Han Dun Dejong is her, he can still rescue her if he rushes over now. If the golden light spot being chased is Mu Fan, then the other golden light spot in the distance is her, so she is also safe, and it is time for him to decide the winner with Mu Fan. Her problem should be solved after he passes Mu Fan. That is the most troublesome thing for Zhang Zizai. Therefore, he almost did not hesitate at all and went to the same light spot with Han Dun Dejong. The light spot obviously also felt the presence of Han Dun Dejong. The other party must have guessed that it was Han Dun Dejong, but this person did not retreat but advanced, and went in the direction of Han Dun Dejong. From this point of view, he is very likely Mu Fan, and the light spot in another direction in the distance should be her, so she should be safe for the time being. Of course, this is just a guess. Whether you are sure that the one in front of you is Mu Fan, you still have to see it with your own eyes. It can be seen that the three light spots are rapidly converging, and the light spot that should belong to her in the distance is also coming here, but she is far away. When she arrives here, what should happen here is estimated to have already happened. Unknowingly, the 49th festival has reached the last moment. Apart from the damn rules of the game, Zhang Zizai is still very excited about the final battle at this moment, and even has a surging desire to fight. When he reaches the 7th level of the God King realm, it is difficult for him to have an opponent below the god. At this moment, Mu Fan is already the strongest God King in the entire 49th God realm. Fighting with him, regardless of life and death, is exciting. Getting the first place in the 49th festival is the best way for Zhang Zizai to prove himself. The two light spots have already met, and they will probably fight if they meet. Zhang Zizai is still a little behind, but he continues to speed up. Chaos flashes thousands of miles away, and legends are spread among the broken stars. Finally, at a certain moment, he encounters the other two light spots. In his field of vision, it is indeed a huge and boundless Chaos Emperor Zhang, and Mu Fan, the sole beast of life and death from the realm of life and death. He is fighting with this Chaos Emperor Zhang. He knew that Zhang Zizai would come, but even so, he still fought with Chaos Emperor Zhang first, without any intention of worrying about being consumed. From this point of view, he is very confident in himself. It seems that he is not afraid of Zhang Zizai at all. He looked back at Zhang Zizai, revealed a smile, and said, "Finally we meet. This place is really big. I have met most people, but I have never met you. That means there is no fate. Let's deal with this Chaos Emperor Zhang first, and then decide the winner. Anyway, the rules of the game are like this. It is destined that either you die or I live." "There is nothing to say," Zhang Zizai said. "Indeed, I was unwilling to do so, but everyone did the same, so I gave in, because there was no other way. If I didn't kill people, others would kill each other." He shook his head in distress. Zhang Zizai had already stepped forward and faced the Chaos Emperor Zhang with him. Facing two opponents, the violent beast showed no fear at all. There is also the Xuanhuan God King from the Chaos Demon realm. "Aren't you afraid that we will fight to the death and let her take advantage? She is coming this way. Why don't we get rid of her first, so that we can save trouble?" Mu Fan said indifferently. He didn't know the relationship between Zhang Zizai and Xuanhuan God King. "No need. It will be easy to deal with her after getting rid of you." "I can't wait," Zhang Zizai said. "Yes, it will be easy for me to deal with her after getting rid of you. I can't wait any longer. Everyone is talking about your heaven-defying ability. I am a little unconvinced and want to try it myself. Mufan's eyes showed a smile. Until this moment, he seemed to be quite relaxed and natural. Under the attack of the Chaos Emperor Zhang, he was not at all confused. I want to try to possess the heavenly soul, heavenly totem, and heavenly artifacts at the same time, Zhang Zizai said. It's not as good as having the 5 heavenly artifacts. However, heavenly artifacts are external things after all. To be honest, when you reach the heavenly god realm, you will know that you are the foundation, Mufan said. You are not in the heavenly god realm, how do you know? Don't heavenly gods use heavenly artifacts? As long as they use them, it means that heavenly artifacts are useful, Zhang Zizai said. Oh, then we'll see. Let's do it, Mufan said. In fact, he is also a proud person, especially after entering the ancient realm. Dugukaiubai, a rumored rapid rise of Zhang Zizai, blocked his steps to become the first of the 49 sacrifices. Now it's only one step away, he can't give up. The so-called action is to kill Hun Dun Dizhang first. Zhang Zizai didn't say anything. Fighting with him, both of them have killed Hun Dun Dizhang, a quasi-heavenly beast. Now they are besieging together. Even if neither of them needs to show their trump cards, they can completely suppress Hun Dun Dizhang in terms of soul. As for who will eventually kill the Chaos Emperor Zhang, it is meaningless. The strongest person does not need to do anything, just need to harvest in the end. After a battle with hidden strength, the Chaos Emperor Zhang was taken down, and some of the remaining magic crystals on his body went to Mufan, who was killed in the end. In this way, they have reduced one more competitor. Except for the Illusion God King, who was not taken seriously by Mufan, Zhang Zizai is his only opponent. The Illusion God King is too far away. It will take a day to get here, and a day is enough for them to fight. Zhang Zizai does not want to wait, and Mufan can't wait either. In this broken star, the two looked at their opponents in silence. The peak showdown began at this moment. In fact, he is a very similar opponent to Zhang Zizai. He is also good at the lethality of the heavenly soul, but he is more thorough in this regard. That's because his totem beast is the soul of life and death. All his means are on the heavenly soul. He doesn't have much attack power on the divine body. In fact, the divine domain of life and death is not a very powerful divine domain. Their weaknesses are too obvious, but their strengths are also prominent enough. Once they can't withstand their strong attacks, they can't find their weaknesses at all. Precisely because he has no attack power on the divine body, everything is on the cultivation of the heavenly soul, so he hardly changes into a soul of life and death. At this moment, he exists in his original form, holding a black long sword in his hand. It is the soul-eating sword he got in the ancient realm. It is rumored that it has the effect of splitting and devouring the soul. Zhang Zizai saw it just now. That's how the Chaos Emperor Zhang was dealt with. His 10,000 Hells evolution source and the soul-eating sword both came from the ancient realm, and he can be regarded as turning over in the ancient realm. It is also because of this that he, who was previously unknown but only a celestial soul, has become the focus of the ancient realm, second only to Zhang Zizai in fame. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1337. Such a brilliant man was suppressed by Zhang Zizai, how could he not accept it? So in this battle, he was also full of murderous intent, and his blood was boiling. At the moment when their eyes collided, the decisive battle had begun. He was also a type of person who was quick, accurate, and ruthless. Almost at the first moment, the power of his god totem was already revealed. This was definitely a domain-type god totem ability. In an instant, a world unfolded and swallowed Zhang Zizai directly. Before he could react, he could see that in front of him was a world full of ghosts and demons. This was hell, right? There were sewage and cold winds everywhere that could corrode the body and source of the gods. There was almost no place to hide. This was a world of death and despair. These gloomy feng shui were already terrible divine calamities, but this was not the full power of this 10,000 hells. This is almost one of the most terrifying totems of the gods in the world. At this time, tens of thousands of green-faced and fanged evil ghosts appeared. They were in different shapes. Some had many heads, some were wearing white clothes and floating in the sky, some had tongues dragging on the ground, with many forks, and there were purple babies crying and crawling over. 10,000 hells, 10,000 kinds of evil ghosts, were everywhere, surrounding Zhang Zizai in the middle. The scary thing was that they had no entity, they were like they didn't exist, they were all the power of the soul, and at this time they were all attacking Zhang Zizai. Everything was the damage to the soul. So it was impossible to defeat the 10,000 hells with the power of the God Source. That was why ordinary people could only be beaten when facing the God of life and death. Under the control of the 10,000 hells, they didn't even know where the God of life and death was. This was probably the reason why Cultivation died in his hands. Zhang Zizai could naturally see his presence. He was indeed very strong. At this time, he was holding the soul-devouring sword, mixed in the rampant ghosts. With his weirdness and coldness, he was enough to give Zhang Zizai a fatal blow in this 10,000 hells. Soul-devouring sword, one sword devours the soul, and the heavenly soul will die. All of them are soul attacks, which are more thorough than Zhang Zizai's soul attacks. His attacks, such as Chaos Golden Bell, Tianlong Armor, etc., are useless. Only the Chaos Soul Bell can cover the Heavenly Soul defense, and this time, Zhang Zizai is ready to defend first and then attack. He has seen through all the opponent's means, which is actually equivalent to seeing the opponent's weakness. As long as his soul attack can't kill him, he can kill him. So, he held on in the first moment, and then directly threw out the Qincanding and the reverse chaos clock, one up and one down. Since the 10,000 hells are terrible, he directly covers the entire range of the 10,000 hells at the same time. He needs to withstand the opponent's soul attack like a death storm. Die. The other party wanted to kill him as soon as possible. Unfortunately, Zhang Zizai was definitely his most terrifying opponent. Even his 6 thunder and flame pillars had lightning and ancient black fire that could attack the soul, not to mention the phantom sky eye and soul mirror, which actually had strong soul control capabilities. When the 10,000 ghosts were rampant and biting, Zhang Zizai was like a god of war, waving the 6 thunder and flame pillars in his hand to sweep across. In fact, each of the ghosts among the 10,000 ghosts was equivalent to a soul. They could attack, and of course they could also attack with their souls, and they were even controlled by Zhang Zizai's phantom sky eye and soul mirror, but they were all separate individuals, so it seemed a little more troublesome, but overall, Zhang Zizai relied on the Chaos Soul Bell, the 6 thunder and flame pillars, and assisted the phantom sky eye and soul mirror to completely support the 10,000 hell totem. The more difficult one is the soul-devouring sword. He often appears suddenly. The soul-devouring sword directly kills with a sword energy that can directly chop the Chaos Soul Bell. If it were not for the protection of the Chaos Soul Bell, the heavenly god soul might be torn apart. Others can't resist the lethality of his sword at all. Zhang Zizai blocked 3 swords in a row, and the heavenly god soul was stabbed. The whole person was in a dizzy state, and he became more violent. While Zhang Zizai was solving the 10,000 hells, he acted madly and killed. You can't hold on, he has seen the hope of victory. Really? Maybe he doesn't know that now the entire 10,000 hells, including him, has been covered by the Qincanding. The next moment, the reverse chaos clock covered it. Although Zhang Zizai is still in his domain at this moment, the problem is that his domain is under Zhang Zizai's control of time and space. When the space storm of the Qincanding came directly, when the power of time began to control, and when Mu Fan was exposed, this was Zhang Zizai's counter-attack moment. He had long known that he only needed to hold up his strongest attack. Then for the more balanced self, the king of life and death, who had no protection and attack from the divine source divine body, was just meat on his chopping board. When Mu Fan knew this truth, it was too late. He didn't expect Zhang Zizai to be able to use the Qinkanding and the reverse chaos clock, which did not originally belong to him, to this extent. The 10,000 hells joined the space storm, and with the control of time, although they could not control those evil ghosts, they could lock Mu Fan and trap him in the space tier and time control, and he could not attack Zhang Zizai at all. At this time, Zhang Zizai's Chaos Soul Bell came out directly, and there was no need for protection at all, because the other party was busy with their own affairs. When the Requiem sounded, it was time to test whose heavenly soul had a stronger attack. But the strength lies in that, apart from the attack of the soul, his other aspects are very terrifying, especially the 6 thunder flame pillars combined with Xuanhuan's attack, which is mixed with the power of the broken world light and the counter-current river. When these multiple powers burst out, he directly cut a bloody path from the rampant ghosts and killed the opponent with chaos lightning. At the moment of being controlled by time and space, Mu Fan was still able to remain calm and chopped Zhang Zizai with the soul-devouring sword. This time, without the protection of the Chaos Soul Bell, Zhang Zizai was really hit by a sword. "You are dead," Mu Fan said excitedly. "Really? It's your turn." Zhang Zizai's face was pale, but he smiled. He was hit by a sword, and when Mu Fan was already dead, he hit Mu Fan's head with a stick. Bang! Mu Fan's head exploded and he died on the spot. Zhang Zizai demonstrated it to him directly. The two people each took an attack from the other side, and finally the one with unbalanced cultivation died. He could injure Zhang Zizai, but Zhang Zizai could kill him on the spot with one blow. So this duel was actually very simple. He couldn't kill Zhang Zizai, but once Zhang Zizai held on, he could easily kill him. So, the god of life and death died, and Zhang Zizai had the last laugh. Except for the crystal beast heart and the magic crystal of the god of dreams, he got almost everything. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1338. Zhang Zizai of the Dragon Sacrifice Realm killed Mu Fan of the Life and Death Realm. He obtained the Crystal Beast Heart and the Soul-Devouring Sword. As expected, after all this was over, the golden text appeared again, reminding him again, but now there were only 2 people left in the entire Broken Star region, him and the Magic Dream God King. I believe that the Magic Dream God King had already seen the result of their battle at this time. There was no imagined battle. Zhang Zizai and Mu Fan quickly decided the winner of life and death, without any entanglement. Including the Chaos Emperor Zhang, it didn't take long for the 3 light spots to collide with each other, and the result appeared. Zhang Zizai soon laughed to the end. Of course, it was limited to him and Mu Fan. He still had no answer to how to deal with the last light spot. He had been taking one step at a time before, and now it was finally time to escape. She was still coming here, but it might take most of the day to get there. The last magic crystal and crystal beast heart were still on her. Before killing her, Zhang Zizai was not the first of the 49 sacrifices. But this level is much harder than Mu Fan's. Once Mu Fan died, he disappeared, and the surroundings were empty. Only the soul-devouring sword was still in front of him. This is a divine weapon that can exert a very terrible killing power with the help of the heavenly soul. The soul-devouring sword chi is enough to tear the heavenly soul apart. If it were not for the protection of the Chaos Soul Bell, Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul would have been scarred and even dead. Among the friends he knew, there was no one who was suitable for the soul-devouring sword, and when they could control it, it would be unknown what era it would be, so Zhang Zizai thought about it for a while. He killed Mu Fan, and the soul-devouring sword should be very clear about Zhang Zizai's strength. he is definitely more suitable to be a master than Mu Fan. The soul-devouring sword, the universe cauldron and the reverse chaos clock, just happened to be the three-headed illusory dragon that Zhang Zizai merged with the ancestral dragon tower, which are exactly these three attributes. Therefore, it was easy for him to control the soul-devouring sword. The spirit of the soul-devouring sword was also a soul beast of life and death, but it was not a totem beast. It surrendered directly to Zhang Zizai without any resistance. In this way, Zhang Zizai has 6 kinds of heavenly artifacts, or 24 kinds. He has a stronger killing power in the soul. When the Chaos Soul Bell, Soul Mirror and Phantom Sky Eye are controlled, his 6 Thunder Flame Pillars and the soul-devouring sword can have more terrible means of explosion. Directly kill the enemy that has been controlled. But the next enemy he has to face is useless for any heavenly artifact. He now has almost all the Crystal Beast Hearts and Phantom Magic Crystals, but in this Broken Star area, these are invalid. If the person who survives to the end is not him, then everything on him will be transferred, and only the 9 Dragon Chaos God Bell will be left, which will return to the Sacrifice Dragon God domain. The other fortunes are all in this ancient realm. Whoever kills him can get everything. The time has come, and the golden light spot is already next to him. When Zhang Zizai raised his head, the beautiful woman had come to his eyes. She was still wearing a veil and looked at him coldly. You are the only one left. You are still coming here. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you directly? Zhang Zizai stood up and looked at her helplessly, thinking of the 2 times in the Beast God Tower. Now he had to kill her to get the first place in the 49 sacrifices and save Yan'er. This was undoubtedly a fatal choice. Anyway, you can see my position, and hiding is useless, so there is no need. Since I came here, I have already prepared for life and death. It's just a fight. Taking advantage of your fatigue after the battle with Mu Fan, this is my only chance. I didn't expect her to be so direct and directly say what she thought in her heart, but this was completely what Yiman thought in his heart, not what Juxian thought in his heart. Zhang Zizai was silent. How he wished that the person in front of him was another god of life and death, so that he could just kill him directly, and it wouldn't bring him such a struggle as now. Go ahead. I will accept my fate even if I die. It depends on whether I have this last chance. You beast of the Supreme Dragon Clan, I don't need you to pity me at all, and I don't need you to have other ideas because I look like the Immortal Venerable. Your existence is a shame to the Immortal Venerable. I now have 10,000 thoughts to kill you for the Immortal Venerable. When she spoke, she was merciless, all of which were the style of the Dream God King. However, it was also she who had a deep affection with Zhang Zizai on the Sky Island. So Zhang Zizai certainly couldn't do it. He knew that this body might be the only hope of the 9 immortals. If he acted rashly, what if she completely died? Wouldn't it be that he killed her with his own hands in order to keep Yan'er alive? Zhang Zizai, you don't dare to kill me, right? Then don't blame me for taking advantage of this and dealing with you in return. She sneered. After that, she really did it? Anyway, Zhang Zizai would not do it, would not fight back, and he didn't dare to kill himself, so it was just right for her to attack wantonly. If she could kill Zhang Zizai, it would be really wonderful. The Teishu illusion sea directly unfolded, and endless illusions attacked again. Although it was the same old trick, the soul-destroying power that Zhang Zizai felt was even more terrifying than last time. Die. She controlled the Teishu illusion sea and attacked again and again, exerting all her strength. Zhang Zizai could only dodge and did not attack. Facing the only hope of the 9 immortals, he was of course worried that he would regret his life if he was not careful. He was extremely passive now, and there was not much time left. He could only take the beating. Fortunately, the illusionary God King could no longer kill him. Her primordial illusionary sea could not break through Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul defense. He was also a master of illusion, and her divine body and divine source attack could not break the 9 dragon chaos divine bell and the heavenly dragon armor. In other words, even if Zhang Zizhe did not fight back, it would be wishful thinking for her to kill Zhang Zizhe. After persisting for 2/4 of an hour, the illusionary God King had used up all her means, but she still found that she could not touch Zhang Zizhe's hair at all. This made the illusionary God King completely dumbfounded. She originally thought that she could use Zhang Zizhe's unwillingness to kill her to kill Zhang Zizhe, but at this moment she found that he was so strong that he could not be killed. In front of him, all her attacks would seem very ridiculous. After a period of futile efforts, she stopped trying in vain. She removed the suppression of the Xuanhuan and returned to Zhang Zizhe's eyes. It was not that she did not want to continue, but if she continued, she would be the one who consumed the most energy. Even so, he was panting, his face was pale, and his full chest kept rising and falling, rippling waves. The last chapter yesterday was 1332, and today it was directly connected to 1334 because there was an error in the previous chapter number, and 2 chapters 1285 appeared. So it was postponed for 1 chapter. 1334 is the continuation of 1332, there is no 1333. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1339. Zhang Zizhe never made a move to her from beginning to end. He was really afraid that he would accidentally kill her and lose the 9 immortals. The last time she appeared, it was an unimaginable surprise for him. And now, the time for the 49th festival has finally passed. What should we do next? Zhang Zizhe had no answer. But in order to kill him, the Dream God King will always find a way. Suddenly, she made a move that surprised Zhang Zizhe. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. She actually reached out and pulled off the veil, letting Zhang Zizhe see her appearance. After the veil was removed, everything about her was exactly the same as that of the 9 immortals. But she is still not the 9 immortals, because her eyes are different. Her eyes are not even the resentful and hateful eyes of the Dream God King just now, but a third kind of eyes. It felt like playfulness. She looked at Zhang Zizhe playfully, seeming to be somewhat interested. At this moment, she touched her red lips with the tip of her tongue, and suddenly said, "Zhang Zizhe, I didn't expect that you could fly to such an extent in the ancient realm. It's incredible. I really underestimated you before." This voice and speaking tone are much smoother than the previous Dream God King, but she is obviously not the 9 immortals. She is completely different from the 9 immortals. She has an aura of incomparable nobility, pride, and domineering, and her aura is overwhelming. Even though her strength has not changed, there is a terrifying feeling at this moment. From the moment she called her name, Zhang Zizhe knew that when the veil was lifted this time, her identity was the immortal. 1 body, 3 identities. What on earth is going on? Zhang Zizhe had no time to figure this out. He only knew that the person in front of him was the Immortal Lord, and the Immortal Lord and the Dream King were not the same concept. Maybe she came forward in person because the Dream King couldn't kill her? But why can she appear in the disciple's body? Didn't the 9 immortals appear here before? Zhang Zizhe finally felt proud. After all, the Immortal Lord looked at him in surprise, no longer as cold and contemptuous as before. Maybe, she would even let go of her prejudices and want Zhang Zizhe to fight for her chaotic demonic realm and take revenge with her? Will such a family of 3 live together forever? His mind was a little confused for a while. The Immortal Lord was still looking at him with great interest. The same body reflected who it was, but the feeling was completely different. The Dream God King was dull and cold, while the 9 immortals were soft, free, and easy, with all kinds of charms. But now after becoming an Immortal Lord, he is majestic and holy, but also charming, and his gestures are even more intoxicating, but it is just too high and out of reach, making people feel ashamed. Seeing that he didn't speak, the immortal lord said, "Things have progressed to this point. Since you don't want to kill this body, let's make a deal. We don't need Qingyang ancient god anymore. Let's make it happen for each other. Wishes, do you think that's okay? Make each other's wishes come true?" Zhang Zizai had countless questions to ask her, but she would definitely not answer them. "I haven't decided whether to give this body to her or my disciple. Your decision will prompt me to make mine. After all, I hate her, but you like her." The immortal lord said something again, which was obviously very shocking to Zhang Zizai. This was obviously saying that only one of the 9 immortals and the dream god king could live, only one of them was real, and the control was in her hands. This is clearly Zhang Zizai's control in her hands. "Then let's talk about the deal," Zhang Zizai said. "It's very simple. In fact, what I gave you is generous enough. There are 2 major benefits in total, and I only need to get one benefit from you," Immortal Lord said with a sweet smile. "Hurry up and stop talking nonsense." Zhang Zizai didn't like her. She was too self-righteous, too proud, and too noble. She was completely different from the 9 immortals. "You have quite a temper. No wonder you can make me fall in love with you after reincarnation," she chuckled, and then slowly said, "The 2 benefits I give you are, first, I can directly remove the reincarnation for your Yan'er. This calamity was planted by me. Whether it is lifted or not is just a thought for me. You don't need to waste this wish on trivial matters like reincarnation calamity with Qingyang ancient god." Sure enough, she knew a lot. This was indeed Zhang Zizai's purpose in coming to the 49 festival. If she is willing to eliminate the catastrophe of reincarnation, it can indeed be said that Zhang Zizai is in the clear. "What about the second one?" Zhang Zizai asked. "The second benefit is, as you can imagine, I created an independent soul and life from the 9 immortals, part of my life process, and placed it on this body. Originally, this body was created for my dead disciple. Damn it, if you can agree to my conditions, then let Juxian live. Only in this way can she truly come back from the dead, and she will thank you." These 2 benefits are indeed Zhang Zizai's dream. If the 9 immortals survive, Yan'er will also survive. Isn't this the goal he has been striving for all these years? He wanted to protect these lovely people, these people who were more important than his own life. In this way, he could be worthy of the 9 immortals, and he would not be indebted to Yan'er. The 2 benefits given by the immortal really touched Zhang Zizai's heart. Therefore, the price paid must be heavy. So he asked, "What are the conditions?" The immortal venerable smiled and said, "It's very simple. You commit suicide and let my disciple get the first place in the 49th sacrifice. If you agree, I will lift the reincarnation calamity as a sign of sincerity, and then I need you to commit suicide. When my disciple gets the first place in the 49th sacrifice and makes a wish to the Qingyang ancient god, I will let Juxian really live and get out of my control. She can be free and at will. To be honest, I am not a person who likes to lie. This deal is very good for you and me. As for my disciple, I can also rebuild her body in the future. I have no loss. And you exchange one life for the survival of 2 people. Isn't it very cost-effective?" What she said was basically the same as what Zhang Zizai guessed. There was no deviation at all. 1 life for 2 lives. The immortal venerable smiled at him and said, "You have more than 20 days to consider. It's up to you to decide. Do you want to live in disgrace and not be able to protect your loved ones, or do you want to help them and sacrifice for love? It's up to you. I won't force you. After all, you are already immortal here, and I can't deal with you at all." Her goal is the wish of Qingyang Taigu God. The Supreme Dragon Clan wants Qingyang Taigu God to kill the immortal venerable, so she asked her disciples to come. Her goal may be to let Qingyang Taigu God kill the Dragon Emperor. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1340. You are so despicable. Zhang Zizai looked at her indifferently. In order to achieve her goal, she would indeed use any means, but there was no way. The lives of Juxian and Yanner were in her hands. If Zhang Zizai killed her, Yanner can also survive, but the problem is that the 9 immortals are gone forever. You have misjudged me. I am just a poor person. In order to protect the sentient beings in the Chaos Demon realm to get the dignity they deserve, and to avenge myself for being surrounded and killed in the first place, what can I do wrong? I will live. Should he be brutally killed for protecting a place and a group of people, said the immortal. It sounds like she was indeed right. Her rebirth was also a narrow escape from death. What could she do wrong for revenge? If you were killed and were lucky enough to be reincarnated, wouldn't you take revenge? Actually, I didn't need to mention this deal to you. I could get the first place in the 49 festivals myself, but who asked you to participate? Who told the rules of the game here that between you and the 9 immortals, one must die? It is Qingyang ancient god who set the rules, and I can't help it. You can take control of this transaction by yourself, otherwise I will force you. Even if there is no Qingyang ancient god's wish, I can still go on with them. Anyway, they can't. I didn't get the wish from Qingyang ancient god, she said seriously, and it sounded like there was no lie at all. Zhang Zizai fell silent again. Should he die himself or the 9 immortals? As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. The immortal lord did not force him, he could make his own decision, but in fact she had forced him because she threatened the 9 immortals' lives. But she was the only one who could keep the 9 immortals alive, so Zhang Zizai had to take everything she said seriously. If he wants to kill the body in front of him, it will be very simple and he will get the first place in the 49 sacrifices. But sorry, the immortal lord will not let the 9 immortals appear again. By the way, I would like to remind you that she does not have a stable body and can only exist for a few months at most. If we miss her, we will never have her again, she said, pretending not to care. His own life was gone, but he was reborn in exchange for hers. Is it worth it? Zhang Zizai thought about it. What else did he worry about? First of all, there is the secret of Qingyang realm. I don't know where they have gone or what is going on with my brother and the others now. What I miss most is that weird little man. So he struggled endlessly in his heart. Where's the bell? He asked in a hoarse voice. Well, this is my daughter. Of course, I will train her with all my strength. She is only a few years old now, and she is already in the realm of a god. She is very talented and will definitely be better than me in the future, the immortal said with a little pride. Is she happy? Zhang Zizai asked. Of course she is happy. She has so many friends in the Chaos Demon realm who care for her so much. Are you nice to her? Zhang Zizai asked. Of course. This is my daughter. I can't wait to give her all my love. Do you know why I don't want Juxian to come back to life? It's because I'm afraid that she will take away Ling Dang's love. If she comes back to life, she can only live forever. I am not allowed to come back after leaving the dragon sacrifice divine realm, so I am taking a certain risk. Then does she miss me? Zhang Zizai asked tremblingly. How could he not miss his daughter? That was his biggest concern in the world. Think about it, but there is no other way. Originally, I thought your fortune was okay, and I wanted to take you back to the demon realm of chaos. Unfortunately, fate has its way. Who knew you would hinder my path in these 49 sacrifices? Maybe in the future. I miss you even more, but she will always grow up and forget you. Don't worry, her life will be more brilliant than yours. Now she is the only concern and treasure in my life. When she talked about the bell, she was very serious and didn't seem like she was lying. How is she now? Zhang Zizi asked tremblingly. The immortal master took out an image talisman, and Zhang Zizi took it over with shaking hands. The content inside was very short. It showed a little girl with pigtails, who looked about 4 or 5 years old, running forward, and she gave out a happy smile. A bell-like laugh. She didn't have a straight face, but Zhang Zizi could imagine her straight face. Why is she still so young? She is almost 12 years old, Zhang Zizi said. Nonsense, what's her physique? Will she grow at the same rate as a mortal? Moreover, this image talisman was carried on the king of fantasy dreams, and it may have been brought in 5 years ago. She grows slowly. Zhang Zizi put away the image talisman and looked at it several times. He said nothing, turned his back and looked at it again and again. You are quite cruel to me, Zhang Zizi said. You still want me to give you the 9 immortals and the bell to relieve Longyan from reincarnation, right? Why should I do this? First, the bell is mine and no one can take it away. Second, this is just a coincidence. I didn't want you to die, but there is really no way. She only has this body as a glimmer of hope, and if you get the first place in the 49th festival, you must kill her. I still said that, I didn't force you. You make your own choice. To be honest, I really don't want to be so cruel to you, but this is fate, Zhang Zizi. One more thing, Longyan's reincarnation calamity was originally meant to scare you, and it will automatically dissipate after it expires. It won't kill her. Is this life? He had known for a long time that this trapped beast fighting in the broken star zone, where only one person could survive, would be his nightmare. He never thought that his own survival would make it impossible for the 9 immortals to survive. If I had known this, I would not have come here, because she said that Yanus' reincarnation calamity was invalid, so my wish would no longer be a wish. If I hadn't come in, would everyone be happy at this time? Speaking of which, this is really fate. It sounds like she is also shocked and helpless about the survival rules of this broken star zone, but she has no choice. She didn't say much, but stood quietly waiting. As she said, she just proposed a deal. Zhang Zizi has every right to make any choice, because no one here can kill him. Zhang Zizi turned his back and looked at the image symbol of the bell over and over again. This choice is a nightmare for anyone. His mind was blank. After the blank, the memories of the past appeared bit by bit. The past with her seemed to have happened yesterday. And today, only one person can survive. Is it great or living in shame and regretting for a lifetime? Zhang Zizi actually has the answer in his heart, he just wants to recall it for the last time. This life is very short, and it is a bit dazed. I don't know what will happen after I leave, but I have killed a lot. Everyone will die, even gods. If my meaning exists, it seems that how long I live doesn't matter. The key is that in order to let the loved ones live, I choose to sacrifice myself. That feeling is cool, right? No one knows what the rules of this broken star area are, so he believes that the immortal venerable did not intend that only one of them could survive. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1341. After all, she was her previous life. They were the same, just with different circumstances. She wouldn't be an unforgivable person. Time passed day by day. In a blink of an eye, the last day of the 49th sacrifice had arrived. Zhang Zizi stood up. He had nothing to say and his face was very calm. Prepare to face death. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Smoke Ji Woo. You are a brave man with great courage. I underestimated you, Zhang Zizi. She gritted her teeth and said. There are not many people who can give up their destined magnificent future and choose to exchange their lives for their lives at such a time. No need to be sentimental. My mind is blank now. Just go ahead. Don't talk nonsense, so that I won't regret it. Zhang Zizai pouted. He really came here with a hard head. He wanted to move himself with greatness, but it was actually meaningless. Now he was hot-headed and full of passion. Let's end it like this. If he hesitated too much, it would not be death. He was afraid that he would become a coward, so he had to kill himself before he regretted it, and put an end to it all, and then he would not care about the flood after his death. He was afraid that the immortal venerable would make him sentimental, which would make him look stupid and ridiculous. He carefully returned the image talisman to the immortal venerable, and then carried her on his back all the way. The immortal venerable also said that Yanna's reincarnation calamity was over now, and she could guarantee it with the life of the bell. When he traveled far enough, he could hardly see her, and it seemed more decent to die quietly like this. Even so, his eyes were still full of bloodshot. "Jur, I'm sorry, I can't accompany you." Gritting his teeth, life and death depended on this moment. Suddenly, within the range of the heavenly soul, the position behind Zhang Zizai actually changed dramatically. There was actually a third person besides him and the immortal venerable, and that person was attacking the immortal venerable at this moment. Attacking the immortal venerable was attacking Juxian and Yimen. He was going to commit suicide, but he didn't know there would be such a change. The key is, how could a third person appear in this broken star area? Those who deserved to die were all dead. Mufan was killed by himself. He was the only one who was a threat to the current immortal venerable. Who else could crush her like this? If she died, the 9 immortals would be completely dead. Zhang Zizai was shocked and hurriedly turned around and rushed back with chaos lightning. This matter was too unexpected. If he had known this, he would not have to run so far to die. He just wanted to be decent, but he didn't expect such a change. His speed was fast enough. But he didn't expect that the person who suddenly appeared was so terrifying. Before he could see who it was, a white giant tower fell from the sky and slammed down on the head of the immortal venerable. The immortal venerable fought back with the body of the illusionary god king. The biggest reliance was the Teishu illusionary sea, but the Teishu illusionary sea seemed to be unable to control the opponent and had no effect at all. The next moment, the white giant tower crushed up, and the earth roared for a while, and the already huge broken star under his feet exploded directly. After this strong suppression, Zhang Zizai felt that the last golden light spot had disappeared. Whether it was the 9 immortals, the immortal venerable, or the illusionary god King Yimen, their breath had completely disappeared. Even the corpses might be crushed by the white giant tower. When he arrived at the scene, there were only fragments of the broken star, and even the flesh and blood no longer existed. Only a piece of talisman paper was still floating. Zhang Zizai picked it up. It was the image talisman of the bell. She still held it in her hand, but it became the only thing left. There was no soul that originally belonged to her within the range of his heavenly soul, which meant that she had been crushed to death by the white giant tower. This was definitely something that the immortal venerable had not expected, and she herself had not had time to resist. Everything, with her death, seemed to have ended. She was still vivid in the beast god tower, but there were only fragments in front of her, not even the body, which meant that the 9 immortals in his heart were completely dead. He was willing to sacrifice his life to let her live, and he had no idea that such a thing could happen. At this moment, he stood there, and then cast an extremely fierce and hateful look at the murderer. He saw that there was a person standing above the white giant tower. He was the murderer who killed the 9 immortals. He was ready to let the 9 immortals live, but this person actually killed her. When he saw the appearance of this person, he was stunned, even sluggish. Because this person was the heavenly dragon god King Zhang Junjian, who had disappeared for a long time and no one had ever seen him. He actually appeared here. However, even in the previous folding world and this broken star area, He had never appeared, and he was not even on the disc. Why could he appear here at this moment? The 20 people on the disc leading to the broken star area are the top 20 in terms of the number of magic crystals. Why can he appear here? If it was before, he would definitely be happy to see the Dragon God King, but now, he killed the 9 immortals. Why? Zhang Zizhe looked at him desperately. This was the time when he was really uncomfortable, because the Dragon God King was someone he respected very much. Nothing, if you want to be the first of the 49th festival, you must kill everyone. You 2 opponents are the only ones left. I will definitely kill her first, and then I will fight you fairly, Zhang Zizhe Dragon God King said. What he meant was that he certainly didn't know that this was Juxian. To him, maybe this was just the Dream God King? He might not even have seen the other person's appearance clearly before he attacked directly. Zhang Zizhe was in no mood to ask him how he could appear here, how he existed, but at the last moment there was no golden light spot, but he could see the existence of other people. He always felt that he was favored by Qingyang Taigu God, but now it seems that he is the one who appears and disappears in this whole process. Zhang Zizhe is not jealous of him at all, but what makes him so depressed that he can't bear it now is that he killed Juxian. I am very shocked that you can grow to this point, and I am very happy for you. I don't want you to be my last opponent, but this is the rule of the game, and this is also a helpless fate. In fact, everyone has the right to survive. What I fear most is that you are not strong enough. Now I can't underestimate you. This is good. Since the ending is already determined, there is no need to say anything. Just a fair and happy battle, treat life and death as destined by heaven, Zhang Zizhe he said very seriously. Destined by heaven? However, when he saw Juxian completely dead, his heart was completely empty. Destined by God, these 4 words really made people tremble with anger. He took a deep breath. He was angry at everything he saw. He respected the Dragon God King very much, but as he said, Zhang Zizhe was not only willing to fight fairly, he also wanted to kill him. Even though he still didn't know why he was here. It didn't matter. What mattered was that he was really angry. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1342. Zhang Zizhe did not expect that the final showdown in this ancient realm would not be between himself and the god of life and death, Mu Fan, nor the god of dreams who left him helpless, but Zhang Junjian, the god of heavenly dragon. If possible, he wouldn't want it to be him. However, it might be a mistake, it might be a coincidence. He almost didn't ask the reason and just killed the last hope of the 9 immortals. How could he bear such a result? Good fortune plays tricks on people, Zhang Zizhe, you and I don't need to have any burden in our hearts. I am very happy that you can achieve what you have achieved today. The winner in the future will carry the loser's dream of a god and continue to move forward. Just let go and fight. It's okay, I won't show mercy, this is the greatest respect for each other, the heavenly Dragon God King said loudly. His tone was very relaxed, as if he was talking about something trivial, rather than a matter of life and death. Zhang Zizhe's mind was now filled with her last appearance. He didn't know why things were progressing like this. Just like what the heavenly Dragon God King had said, since it was so bad, he could just put all his kindness and grudges on this battle. Zhang Zizhe was very grateful to him and even regarded him as his real brother. He even doubted his relationship with his brother. But at this time, he was also the murderer of the 9 immortals. When gratitude and hatred were mixed together, this kind of suffering was indeed suffocating. I know you have many divine weapons, but don't underestimate me. I also have many. The heavenly Dragon God King is dressed in white brocade clothes with fluttering white clothes. He is majestic, serious, and solemn, and he seems to be a very reliable man. Zhang Zizhe, on the other hand, was dressed in black and looked only gloomy and fierce at the moment. The huge white tower before was still suspended in the air at this time. This should be the Tehaoshan Tower, the first divine weapon he obtained. Zhang Zizi had already seen the power of the Tehaoshan Tower, and it was indeed very terrifying. It's just that other heavenly artifacts have appeared on his body now. In addition to the Tehao Heavenly Tower, there are actually two kinds. The first is a pure white spear in his hand. The spear is like a silver dragon. When he holds it in his hand, while waving it, the Gangqi with terrifying tearing properties is penetrating and tearing everything apart. This is definitely a heavenly artifact with extremely terrifying lethality. In addition to the Tehaoshan Tower and the white dragon gun, there is also a black bead suspended above his head. The bead is deep and thick inside, as if it is a gloomy world. Small, but actually infinite. On this black bead, Zhang Zizai felt the power of a divine soul. Tehaoshan Tower has terrifying control and suppression, the white dragon gun provides super lethality, and this black bead probably has the power of the soul. He himself said directly, Tehaoshan Tower, you should have heard of it. As for this, it is the 9 Sky Silver Dragon Spear. Although it is not as good as your 6-path Thunder Flame Divine Pillar, it is still capable of fighting. It is also made of it is composed of 9 kinds of dragon spears. As for this bead, it is called the Soul Suppressing Bead. It can defend, mainly defend against my heavenly soul. Otherwise, your attack on the soul is so powerful, I can't defend it. He was straightforward and introduced his trump card directly. The 3 heavenly artifacts include suppression and control, explosive fighting, and soul defense. They are very balanced. The reason why Mu Fan lost the battle was because he was not balanced enough and strong. Strong, but its weaknesses are too obvious. The heavenly dragon god king is different. He has 3 complete heavenly artifacts, which have various effects, especially the divine soul defense type artifact. None of his previous opponents have this kind. And he even reminded Zhang Zizai that he was also a person with a heavenly soul. No wonder he was nearby and Zhang Zizai had never seen his existence. However, he still didn't know why there was no golden light on his body and why he appeared here. Zhang Zizai wasn't even particularly interested in knowing. By the way, I also got a lot of good things in this ancient realm. These are all harvested here. Moreover, my totem has also evolved to the level of the god totem. This is the only place where I am ahead of you. In this way, there were a total of 3 people in the ancient realm whose totems evolved into god totems, namely Yimen, Mu Fan, and Tianlong God King, and these 3 all challenged Zhang Zizai one after another in the end. The Holy Dragon Totem of the Ancient 9 Palaces. Today's Zhang Junjian has already reached the 9th level of the Divine King realm. With the Divine Soul, Divine Totem, and 3 Divine Artifacts, he is even more balanced than Zhang Zizai. Zhang Zizai has more divine weapons, but he does not have the Divine Totem, and in this kind of duel, the usefulness of the Divine Totem is very huge. However, the numerous divine weapons were enough to make up for Zhang Zizai's shortcomings. He somewhat understands why the gods don't change into their original bodies often, because for them now, the increase in the power of the divine body is insignificant to their combat effectiveness, and the human form is more flexible. Now Zhang Zizai and the heavenly dragon god king in front of him, all have reached this level. Zhang Zizai exploded at this moment. In the battle of life and death, there is no need to think too much. As the dragon god king said, a smooth battle is the best respect for each other. Before Zhang Zizai took action, he had already taken action. The Tehaoshan Tower was like a mountain, shining with white light. The dazzling light enveloped the world. They were fighting in the void. Whenever the Tehaoshan Tower crashed down, it is enough to completely blow up a whole broken star. It is obvious how powerful it is. But the stronger one is the 9 Heaven Silver Dragon Spear, which can pierce out the 9 Heaven Silver Dragon Chi and directly penetrate Zhang Zizai's Chaos Gold Bell, Chaos Water Bell and Dragon Armor. If it is hit head-on, it will directly pierce Zhang Zizai's divine body. When the 9 heaven silver dragon chi is rampant in the divine body, it needs the chaos wood bell and the fountain of youth to suppress and repair it together before it can be finally cleared. Therefore, Zhang Zizai can't bear the opponent's attack as unscrupulously as before. The soul-suppressing orb is actually the reliance of the Dragon God King, which directly reduces Zhang Zizai's soul suppression and attack effects by more than half. He can crush Cultivation and others with his soul attack, but it is difficult to crush them unilaterally. Such a balanced opponent is definitely much stronger than the Life and Death God King Mu Fan. Zhang Zizai used all his means, and basically did not hold back on the 6 divine weapons. However, the opponent was just as fast and elusive, so it was basically impossible to suppress him into the Kin Ding. Therefore, Zhang Zizai could only use the Kin Ding like the Taihaoshan Tower to suppress him directly, and then use the reverse chaos clock to effect the harassment. 10,000 Dragon Devouring Heaven Spear.